Watson and welcome back to GCTV. Spring break is only 10 school days away. I know I'm definitely looking forward to that. Who's Who nominations have been sent out and must be turned in by March 22nd. Prom review will be held on March 17th and prom will be held April 17th. Keep checking your school email for more information on how to purchase tickets. Yearbooks are also on sale. See Ms. O'Neill in room 4 for more information. Next Thursday, we will go to our advisory where we will receive our third quarter report cards. And now for the news of the week. March 13th is a day that GCHS staff and students will remember for years to come. For many students, this marks the last normal school day of 2020. What started as a 2-week quarantine turned into a 5-month hiatus from in-person school. While many students first viewed this as an extra 2 weeks of spring break, administrators knew they were facing far greater challenges.
My first initial reaction was that I told somebody it will be longer than 2 weeks, and it will probably be possibly the rest of the school year, and it ended up being the rest of the school year. So,
Nurse Jody Summerall also expected the quarantine would last longer than expected.
I knew it wasn't going to be 2 weeks. I didn't think it would be the entire school year, but I knew it wasn't going to be for 2 weeks.
COVID brought about many challenges. From worrying about remembering a mask when you leave your house, to avoiding eating out and trying to social distance.
At home, I no longer go in Walmart. I do grocery pickup, and I haven't been to Mobile and or Hattiesburg probably in over a year. So if I can order or do something online, I do it online.
Taylor has also adopted extra precautions in the past year.
my life has changed a little bit. You know, you have to do things differently. You have to, make sure that when you leave your house or leave your office that you have a mask, that you are prepared, that you've got your hand sanitizer in your vehicle, things that I did not necessarily do before, that I have to be aware of and conscious of. Just a lot of new regulations and guidelines that we have to follow, so we have to stay on top of those.
On the other hand, COVID offered people the free time to learn new skills and find new hobbies. Over the 5-month quarantine, Taylor developed an interest in furniture painting.
So out of boredom, I guess, had an item in my house that I wanted to chalk paint, so I experimented with it, and it turned out pretty cool. So I enjoy doing it.
For Administrator Morgan Dean, who had just moved to GCHS a few weeks before the quarantine, COVID offered him the time to settle into his new home and to get acquainted with George County.
Well, we had an interesting setup, so I moved 5 hours down here from Cleveland, and that was already a big upheaval. And then to have COVID hit and give us the quarantine period, it actually allowed a little bit of latitude in how I did my work. So I could do stuff from Cleveland, my former home, and spend time with my family while they were under quarantine. And it made it, kind of made it a little bit easier, I think.
Now let's go to Sage to see things from a teacher's perspective.
GCHS, along with the rest of the world, is coming up on the anniversary of the arrival of a very long and hard year. March 13th, 2020 was the beginning of a 2-week quarantine that led to an extensive break from school and most gregarious activities.
Since COVID, I have hardly left home.
Many people feel as though their lives have been flipped upside down in the last year, while others have only noticed slight changes.
So, since COVID started, hadn't really changed a whole lot. Just having to constantly wear masks in restaurants is the biggest thing that I've noticed. Kind of trying to be more conscientious about going to see family. Just as far as my parents being older and hopefully not putting them at risk. So it's kind of made me more aware of other people's possibility of being contaminated and being affected by COVID.
Many have picked up new hobbies to keep them occupied during the quarantine.
I have picked up bread making, sourdough bread.
Okay, so I didn't really pick up any new skills, I don't think, but I did start doing puzzles as a way of passing the time and kind of giving me something to keep me active a little bit.
As a result of COVID-19, teachers have had to resort to technologically inclined methods of teaching.
Definitely had to spend a lot more time looking at computers, so it's forced me to get a lot more comfortable with them.
Although it has been difficult to learn the ropes of virtual learning, many teachers will continue to use it in the future.
Virtual learning has definitely been something that I've had to adjust to and find things that I can do online and in the classroom, but it's helped me to see some resources that I really enjoy, and I want to continue using those in the years to come.
I think that it's a very useful and beneficial thing. I think it's definitely another route that teachers could use as far as how to get across to students. I would probably use it, maybe not as a first go-to, but maybe as definitely as like a break from the lecturing and that kind of thing, like to do like an audio lecture or do like a video lecture and do some type of virtual thing like that. I think that would be something great that the kids would enjoy.
Everyone is still feeling the effects of COVID and awaiting an end to the pandemic. Now back to Olivia.
Now here's Chandler to tell us how students feel about the past year.
COVID-19 has been declared a global pandemic for almost a year. The entire world has been affected drastically.
COVID's affected my life by making me wear a mask everywhere I go. I think my education was compromised because I just had COVID like a month ago, and I still feel behind about it because like I missed 2 weeks. So I feel like I didn't learn anything those 2 weeks.
Personally, not much has changed. This previous summer, me and my friends, we started skateboarding and riding bikes around town since there's really nowhere to go, because last year we planned on going to the beach and all the hotels started closing.
COVID-19 has, last year it really shut down all the spring sports that I was part of, and it really messed up the season for everybody. And I'm really hoping that doesn't go into effect this year again, because we're just now getting back to where we were last year when everything got crazy. Really looking forward to finishing out tennis and track this year.
When they first announced we were going to be quarantined, I was like, well, crap, there goes my school year. And I'm sure all the other students felt the same way, but yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then it got really serious at one point, and I was like, wow, we're really not going back. So yeah.
Students at GCHS are still feeling the effects of the pandemic as life is yet to return to normalcy.
While GCHS has yet to make a complete return to pre-COVID life, cases are currently down, and students and administrators are hoping to finish out the year quarantine-free. Now let's go to Jada to see how our juniors performed in last week's DYW.
Thanks, Olivia. On March 6th, 6 young ladies from George County competed in Distinguished Young Women. Distinguished Young Women is a national scholarship program that is to help inspire young high school girls to develop their full potential through fun, transformative experience to showcase their personal accomplishments. This year, Lindy Wilson received the Talent Award, the Scholastic Award, and the Overall for DYW. For her, this was such a learning experience.
So the biggest thing that I took away from the program was forming opinions about the media and everything. I didn't really pay attention to the news before, but now I know all about current events, and it's really helped me blossom as a person because I do vote in a year, and that's scary, so I know what's happening in the world now.
She really enjoyed the practices, even though it was a little long. It definitely was one of her favorite parts, being that she gained more of a bond with the other girls. This was not Wilson's first time competing. She herself was a little sister in last year's program for Rayleigh Langston. This year, Wilson's little sister was a sophomore, Daly Howell. Receiving first alternate, the Essay Award, the Self-Expression Award, and the Interview Award was junior Katie Havard. Havard was completely overjoyed with the emotions, but also extremely proud of herself. She was really interested in DYW, with it being a scholarship program.
I really enjoyed all of the different the skills I gained, like the interview skills and the public speaking skills.
Also receiving second alternate, Carly Charbonnet was happy and so excited about the scholarship funds she received from the program. After all the hard work, these ladies will always have these lessons they learned in their life. We would like to congratulate everyone who competed.
Now with the powerlifting season underway, our Rebels have moved on to the next tournament. The boys placed 3rd overall in Region 3 through 6A, and 6 boys will be moving on to South State. The girls did not qualify to move on to South State. At their last meet, first place in the 148-pound class was Cruz Beach. First place in the 308-plus class was Tower Middleton. Second place in the 148-pound class was LaRyan Blackston. Third place in the 198-pound class was Corey Stinson. Third place in the 220-pound class was Sam O'Neill. And third place in the 242-pound class was Dallas White. The powerlifting team is having to overcome challenges in this season with COVID-19.
This year we've been, with the COVID-19, we've had to go from 9 attempts, which would be 3 attempts on each lift, squat, bench, and deadlift, to 7 attempts. So we've got to figure out what our best lifts are and kind of go from there.
Despite the challenges they are facing, the team is still staying motivated and improving as the season continues.
Just competition in between all the guys. I mean, I played against them in football, so I mean, seeing them lifting just makes you want to compete even more.
Just continue doing what I'm doing.
The powerlifting team will be in action on Saturday, March 13th at D'Iberville for South State. Good luck to our Rebel powerlifting team. The George County High School golf teams have started their season and are continuously looking to grow as the season progresses. This year, the golf team is composed of 16 boys and 6 girls. The girls team will play in 3 tournaments. They will play on March 23rd in Hurley, April 14th in Okatoma, and they will also play a district game on April 20th. The boys golf team was in action on March 11th in Gulfport, and will play March 18th and 23rd in Hurley. They will be back in Gulfport on April 6th, and they will also play a district game on April 20th. We caught up with Coach Tyler Denmark to see how the teams were doing so far.
The girls were the first ones to play in a tournament. It didn't go too hot for us. You know, we have a fairly young team, or new girls that have never played golf. But it was a lot of fun. We had one girl make the cutoff score, and we placed 9 out of 20 teams, so that was a surprise for us. The boys, on the other hand, are pretty experienced and solid, but unfortunately due to weather, the first tournament they were in got rained out. We played 1 hole and then the rain came, but expecting big things from the boys team this year.
Let's see how some of the players are doing this season. We talked to junior Reese Holly and sophomore Kinley Anderson.
Well, our first tournament got rained out, so it hasn't been the best.
According to Holly, he has still had a good experience with golf throughout his season struggles.
Yeah, I made more friends playing golf. Like, I made a couple more friends, and I guess something you can learn from golf is don't get mad, because if you get mad, things get harder.
We also caught up with sophomore Kinley Anderson to see how her season was going.
It's been good. We've only had 1 tournament, but it went pretty well for my first time.
While playing golf, Anderson has experienced many benefits that she wouldn't have before.
I've definitely talked to more people that I wouldn't have talked to before. It's also gotten me outside more.
We are wishing the best of luck to our golf teams as they continue to improve this season. Let's pass it over to Kayla for the poll of the week.
Thanks, Lisa. This week we asked multiple students what 3 of their greatest wishes are. Here are some of their responses.
The first one would be to hopefully achieve my dream of being a radioactive oncologist, and then hopefully go to the UK to travel, and then just, I don't know, having a good life. Yeah.
My 3 wishes to go skydiving, jump out of an airplane, and not die. And then own a welding company, and to be a millionaire.
My first wish, I want to be a billionaire. Because I'm tired of seeing my mama's slavery and working. My second wish, I want like 50 children. Why? So if I don't become a billionaire, I can claim all of my income taxes. My third one, I just want to be known everywhere and cool with everybody.
Hopefully your wishes are as good as theirs. Now to Olivia.
That's all we have for this week. I'm Olivia Waxman, and I'll see you next time on GCTV.